Ukraine marks first day of spring as battle for Bakhmut intensifies. The besieged city of Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine is facing the most difficult situation in the country as the battle for control of the frontline city intensifies. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said, "The intensity of fighting is only increasing, and Russia is exerting insane pressure on Ukrainian forces by sending troops to constantly storm our positions without regard for their lives." He said, "The fighting in Bakhmut on Wednesday coincides with Ukrainian celebrations of the first day of spring. This year, the day is being hailed as a symbolic victory that the country has made it through a winter of war. They wanted to freeze us and throw us into darkness. We survived," said Ukrainian Defense Minister Oleksiy Reznikov. Here's the latest on the war and its ripple effects across the globe. Key developments. Finland's parliament voted to speed up the country's accession to NATO, bringing the Nordic nation closer to joining the transatlantic military alliance. The bill passed on Wednesday by a vote of 184 to 7. The move to accelerate the accession could lead Finland to join the alliance before Sweden. The tight-knit pair often coordinate on security and had planned to join NATO together. But Turkey has dragged its feet on approving Sweden's bid over concerns around Stockholm's approach to groups that Ankara considers to be terrorists. Hungary's president urged lawmakers to urgently move to allow Finland and Sweden to join NATO. All 30 NATO members must agree to admit new states to the alliance, but legislation to approve the accessions of Finland and Sweden has stalled in Hungary's legislative body. With some lawmakers accusing the Nordic nations of insulting Hungary in recent years, the Associated Press reported. Hungarian President Katalin Novak said Wednesday that the accession of Sweden and Finland is justified, urging the National Assembly to make a wise decision as soon as possible. Russia is not interested in meaningful diplomacy, Secretary of State Antony Blinken said. He urged neutral countries preparing to attend this week's Group of 20 meeting in India to reject the terms Moscow has outlined for negotiating an end to the war in Ukraine. Blinken said the Kremlin's position that Ukraine must accept Russia's annexation of Ukrainian territory as a precondition for negotiations should not be accepted by any nation. That's obviously a non-starter and should be a non-starter, not just for Ukraine and for us, but for countries around the world, Blinken said. Russian President Vladimir Putin said he will host Chinese President Xi Jinping in Moscow, state media reported. It was not clear when such a visit would occur. China's top diplomat, Wang Yi, visited Moscow last week. Blinken has warned that China will face sanctions if it supplies lethal support to Russia. China has vehemently denied any such plans and in recent days has been positioning itself as a potential peacemaker in the conflict. Ukrainians have been celebrating the arrival of spring on social media, posting photos of flowers and hailing their survival as a victory over Russia. Ukraine's foreign minister, Dmytro Kuleba, said Wednesday, Putin suffered another major defeat. Despite the cold, darkness, and missile strikes, Ukraine persevered and defeated his winter terror. Another Ukrainian wrote on Twitter, "We survived this winter. We know the price of life. Let's catch every moment of it." Global impact. Finland is building a fence along its border with Russia to address the changed security environment. The border fence is set to span nearly 125 miles of its more than 800-mile-long border with Russia, according to Finland's border guard, which announced the move Tuesday. It noted that while Russia controls outbound traffic into Finland, Finland cannot rely on the effectiveness of Russian border control. Large numbers of Russians have fled since the start of the war. Those with visas have fled to Finland or elsewhere in Europe, while others have escaped to nearby countries such as Armenia and Kazakhstan.